Okay, so we're going to talk about the perfect way to do the matrix. Well, this is not so much the perfect way as more like the way not to do the matrix. Usually in a workshop this would descend into how to do the matrix. But for this video tutorial, hopefully you've watched some of the other matrix tutorials and we don't need to talk about that. Okay, so the matrix, as far as I am concerned, as far as I understand it, is two propellers that happen around your upper arm, and then it transfers across your throat and across behind your neck between these two propellers. Now, if the propeller's up by your hand, it doesn't really count as a matrix. So at what point down your arm does it become a matrix? Well, I consider it basically the matrix to be underneath the elbow, preferably underneath like your sleeve point. Anytime it's above the elbow, it's not really a matrix. But if it's really down by your shoulder joint, it's more likely to A, look like a matrix, and B, be a matrix. Like the Nice matrix or the Hula matrix is one of these things that sometimes it will travel up by your elbow and then it's not so impressive. It's not like down here by your chest anymore. Okay, so anything else about the matrix? Oh yeah, so there's some things, let me explain it to you again. So obviously it wraps your throat and then goes around here like this, wraps your throat, I should have said neck last time, and then goes around here like this, and then goes across the back of your neck. Now sometimes you'll see people, they want it to go from here directly under, and that's not going to happen. Your head's far too much in the way, you're going to have to lean over way more. It's much easier if you either let it roll a little down here, or from this side, it immediately steps onto like the end of your deltoid, or where a sleeve would be, if you're wearing a t-shirt, whatever, somewhere in the middle of your upper arm. So when I do it, hopefully it works, but you see I get it to roll here, and that's because I've done it a lot. So I know how that kind of works, and what kind of timing to use with my arm to get that to happen. But equally, stepping it from here to there is also fine. And the step might be a bit more like there, like that. Whoa, exciting. And the same technically is going to happen on the other shoulder, but it's going to be behind you, so it's a little bit harder to see. And it's this roll that's usually like one of the harder parts. I mean, the first, this side of the matrix is generally easier, but when you start to connect them up, it becomes quite hard to get this tiny little roll transition correct. Mostly because you can't see it. That's that one bit. Is there anything else? Straight arms, you can do straight arms in the matrix if you want. It's quite useful to be more flexible in your shoulders and your back for the matrix, especially if you want to have straight arms. If you bend your arms, you will get a little bit more range out of your shoulders. But straight arms kind of looks nice, or kind of like an aeroplane. You can do that as well. Sorry guys! The other thing is that you don't have to make this a big arm circle if you don't want to. You can just like leave your arm back or in one position and do most of it with your body, but again that will make it harder. You don't have the ability to control the staff with your arm, and you are going to be controlling it using this movement. So if I do it a little, let's try that again. That's kind of it, kind of like a lazy matrix where I don't bother to move my arm. So that's another little point. Final little point, maybe final, who knows. You don't need to bend over as much once you can do the matrix as you think you have to. Basically, you can do a matrix and stare at a camera. Let's find out if we can, huh? It should stare at the camera. So after a while, the matrix kind of becomes a little bit more side to side, unless about this big back bend. The only part of it that becomes a back bend is when it goes across your chest, because you want to create a little space for it to land on your chest. And the other sides become just sideways. And obviously leaning forwards shouldn't be much of an issue for your back, as long as you've got a reasonable back. So yeah, another point is practicing the matrix, engage your core. And I don't mean like suck in your belly, though that's part of it. I mean like brace yourself, engage your core stability. That, to some degree that is stuck in your belly, but it's also partly your hips and whatever. Just make sure you're protecting your lower back by bracing your abs, basically, engaging your abs. This will also help not to have a pregnant belly while you do the matrix, which I might have been guilty of once or twice. You can do that, little guy. Belly. Yeah, so try and engage your core, and that will help protect your back when you're doing the matrix. Because quite a few people have had back injuries. Primarily, probably due to this movement of leaning back without either having enough abs to cope with it or engaging your abs to cope with it. Is there anything else I want to say about the matrix? Nope.